What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Hot Takes with Matt and Hot Sauce. I'm Matt. This is Kalvin, Hot Sauce Henderson, pro boxer, 19-3. And I'm very excited for what we have in store for you. Kalvin's going to be able to give an insight to the world of boxing that very few can, because he is a super high-level guy. He's something really rare in the sport of boxing. He's got a college degree from the University of Arkansas, and he was on full music scholarship.
Yes,
He knows this stuff. He'll be able to give a really good nuance and break down the small intricacies of the boxing world. But we will be we'll be talking about his journey behind the scenes with him. We'll be talking about the major events in the boxing world. We'll be doing joint interviews and breaking down film. We got a lot coming your way. So I'm super excited for this journey. And Kalvin, welcome. All right, I shouldn't even say welcome because it's our show, but how are we feeling, Kalvin?
I'm feeling blessed. And just to backtrack a little bit, I don't know everything about boxing, but I know what I know. And I have 19 years of experience of competing in it, and I'm still competing to this day. And so it's cool just to get a different viewpoint about a pro's pro, as my man Matt would say. So I'm excited.
Yes,
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, and that's another thing on why I wanted to start this with Kalvin is because Kalvin, Kalvin has the potential to be a great boxing commentator and analyst once he's done with his boxing career. He's super charismatic guy, but the reason why I wanted to start this with him is, one, I think he's super talented in that aspect, but he's a pro's pro. Kalvin, he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. He's not going to be someone who says yes, but yes really means no. A counterfeit yes is what some people would say. Kalvin is a guy who's going to be a man of his word, so I'm confident that this is just the beginning, and I think this is going to be a really fun ride. So subscribe and hop on the bandwagon now before everyone else does. But let's get started into this first episode. It's going to be a shorter episode, but we'll have more coming your way in the future. But Kalvin, just about a little over a month ago, had a fight against one of the best light heavyweights in the world, Najee Lopez, down in Kissimmee, Florida. I was there, got to finally meet Kalvin in person. It was awesome. Shout out to Kalvin. Was able to set me and my buddy Ryan up with some free tickets when we got there. Kalvin, just can you talk about that fight and how you're doing mentally and physically after fighting Najee Lopez?
Yeah, for sure. As you said, Matt, that fight was a tough fight. And we knew that fight was going to be tough, not only because of the guy who was fighting Najee, but the setting. We was on his promotion, close to the area where he is promoting and stuff. So a lot of his fans were there, loud. But the promotion, Pro Box, they was completely professional. They had no issues, no kind of complaints there. But the guy, Najee, is tall, he's long, he's rangy. And watching film, we knew it was going to be a tough fight. But we had the tools and we prepared for that fight. But like in any fight, you get caught sometimes, man. That's what happened. We kept it close for the first 4 to 5 rounds. In the 5th round, my coach and I was going to switch it up. But we got caught coming in off of a jab, and the referee stopped it, and then that's how the fight went. But mentally, feeling amazing. Physically, feeling even better. And so we're ready to get back in there and keep it going.
Yeah, so would you be opposed to me talking about what your game plan was, or do we want to keep that low key?
Oh, no. Go ahead. The fight's over with now. You can talk about it now. Yes, sir.
So yeah, Kalvin and I were talking the night before the fight, and your strategy was to take him to deep waters because he's really, he's dominated a lot of his fights, and you're the highest level of opposition that he's faced to date, and you wanted to test him and see how he would respond to being a little winded, being in pain in those late rounds. If you hypothetically were ever to fight him again, would that be the strategy, or would you look, because he's got that ridiculous wingspan, that quick jab, would you be looking more to get on the inside and perhaps just trade with him a little bit?
So that's kind of what we wanted in the first place, but Najee did a really good job in that fight of staying disciplined and using his advantages with his jab and his length. And even during the fight, you can hear his corner reminding him, no, be patient. Stay calm, be patient, and take your time. Because when we watch film on Najee, like I said, he was young, and sometimes those young fighters get overly ambitious and start letting their hands go early and get careless with their hands coming back to their face. So that's one of the things that we want to take advantage of, which is why we want to take them to deep waters. But they did a really good job of staying patient and staying behind the jab at a good distance. So shout out to him for that.
Yeah, and then So just talk about what's next. What is coming up for you down the pipeline?
Yeah, so like any other professional, any other career, it's all about staying active and staying consistent. So a lot of people when they lose a big fight and they think they should have won, they go into like a hole and they don't want to train, they don't want to do this. But like as soon as the fight was over with, the following week I was back in the gym, sharpening my tools and getting back to being consistent. Man, that's what we do as professionals and stuff. So I'm hoping to stay busy here locally, get some more local fights here, and keep the crowd, keep the people, my fans here locally, keep them engaged and keep them excited. So hopefully in December we get something coming up where I can go out there and showcase my skills in front of my people.
Yeah. So, and then does anything change? Does your goals change at all, or is it like, hey, I wanna? I believe you told me your ultimate goal is to provide for your family. Calvin's a family man. Got 5 kids, I believe, right?
Yes, sir. Big five.
Yeah, yeah. So he's got a lot going on. I believe that's what I believe you said your ultimate goal is. But is it? Do you plan to stay at light heavyweight? Do you plan to hopefully compete for just big fights and maybe a title down the road?
Yeah, that's always the goal. The goal is always compete at the highest, and so I'm super competitive. In my younger years, it used to get me in trouble, but I'm super competitive, and I still have my skills. Is just being smart on how we navigate this last part of our career. Because I know I'm 35 years old, I can't fight forever, so it's just being intentional on how we navigate and try to get back to the big show at least one more time, man. But yeah, definitely.
And you fought on the brightest or the biggest of stages, including a world title fight against David Morrell, I believe in 2022 was that, and then you fought
Yes, sir.
Najee Lopez, I believe, for a regional belt. Am I correct in saying that?
Correct. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Reached the top, pop a world title against David Morrell in 22 on Showtime. Then fought Najee for his Intercontinental WA light heavyweight title on Pro Box.
So those are two guys who are at the top of the light heavyweight division, or at least amongst the top. Just talk about that hypothetical fight. If we were to see David Morrell and Najee Lopez square off, what do you think's going to happen in that fight?
I think David Morrell has too much experience right now for Najee. Najee, he throws his punch really snappy, really good. He got pretty good power, pretty good speed, but he has to learn how to mix up his attack and mix up his rhythm on his punches and stuff. One thing about David Morrell is that he has an extensive amateur career, which is why part of the reason why he was fast tracked as a professional. But then Morrell is dangerous, man. What the most dangerous thing about him, in my opinion, is him being a southpaw. So not only is he quick, he's powerful, he has energy, he has good length. He's a southpaw as well. You know what I mean? So I think that right there is what Najee needs a few more fights, a few more learning lessons, and keep stepping up his opposition in fights. Then we'll go from there.
All right, and then yeah. So just giving you guys a little background, Kalvin obviously competed for world titles. He's a veteran of the sport. And another claim to fame for you is you were Jake Paul's sparring partner, got kicked out of camp with him after busting up his nose. His fight recently fell through. Just give me your take on yeah, just him trying to fight Gervonta Davis. Probably not the best business partner with his track record. And
Yeah.
what do you think could be next for him?
That's just weird, man. Like the whole move to fight Tank in the beginning was weird because Tank is a 135-pound guy, and Tank is a professional. He fights, you know what I mean? He gets caught up in the outside life a lot because he has some things that he's battling, like we all do. But I don't know or like what the thought process was to even send that up. But that's the past now. I really think Jake should go ahead and fight Kenzie Morrison, man. I think that fight can be pushed. I think it can be a big fight, especially with Kenzie being Tommy's son. I think it has a lot of potential. I think it's a very dangerous fight for Jake too. Man, people will actually give him credit for taking a real fight. But I can't make the guy fight. You know what I mean? But that's the route that I see would be a good look.
Yeah, and Jake just released a wish list for guys to fight, and none of them I could see. Like now would be the time. Kenzie's pushing for it, but now would be the time for that to happen because, like, you look at the guys on his list that he released. He said Terrence Crawford. That's not happening right now. KSI, YouTuber turned boxer. That guy's his hands jacked up, and he's not going to fight Jake. He knows what'll happen there. Alex Pereira, UFC light heavyweight champion. He's tied up in the UFC. He can't fight. Anthony Joshua. I mean, that's just silly just to go from Tank to Anthony Joshua. That's actually insane. Like, Jake might have a screw loose. But if he really is serious about fighting Anthony Joshua, then Kenzie would be the perfect appetizer for him. Tommy Fury, super greedy, asking for a ridiculous amount of money. I think Kenzie, honestly, no one cares about Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury looks like a model and has the personality of a model. So I don't think that Tommy Fury, and he's been inactive. You're gonna have to pay him a ridiculous amount of money. So. And he wants to fight Usyk in MMA down the road, which I actually think that one could happen down the road. But none of these I can see happening next. And Ryan Garcia was also on that list. He talked to Francis Ngannou. Like, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of options. So I agree. I think that fight with Kenzie, and I've talked about that before on the channel, I think that actually makes a ton of sense. But we'll see. Yeah. But yeah, another boxing headline I saw was Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao Part 2. As I said to you before, the Unk-Off. Just talk about what are you thinking if that were to go down between two guys nearly 50 years old. What do you think's going to happen there? Yeah, what do you think's going to happen in that fight?
It really depends on how sharp Floyd stays in the gym. Because we see Floyd, how he moves outside the gym and doing these exhibition matches, and I don't know what he's doing inside the gym. We do know that Manny Pacquiao has fought a young world champion here recently and actually gave him a run from his money. So we know Pacquiao still has the goods to compete at the high level. Floyd, I don't know. You know what I mean? He's gained a little more weight. He's fighting heavier. He's fighting guys who shouldn't be in the ring with him at all. And of course, in the exhibition matches. But it really depends on what kind of work Floyd doing in the gym. You know what I mean? Manny Pacquiao said Manny Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? And so right now, what I know what Floyd doing in the gym, I got Pacquiao. But I don't know. A determined Floyd may turn it up in training camp. We'll see. But the Unk-Off is crazy work, man. That's just hilarious. I think I would actually watch it too.
Yeah, and I think that's gonna be our stopping point for this first episode. Just time constraints. You know, both of us got to work. But we will have longer episodes in the future, and there'll be a lot of really good content. This is just a taste of what's to come. This is going to be a springboard for us moving forward in the future. And Kalvin, we'll be in touch, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss out.
You got to punch that subscribe button. Punch it. Yeah.
Let's go. All right, man. Make good choices. I'm surprised you didn't say that. Make good choices, everybody.
Good choices. Yes, sir.